The island of Sodor is a wonderful place. There are lots and lots of engines. Who's that puffing along the track? It's Toby. Toby is very special. He is Sodor's only steam tram, and he has the number 7 painted on his side. He has cow catchers on the front and a very loud bell. Toby likes doing lots of jobs: shunting vegetables, shunting coal, and he especially likes seeing the animals at Farmer McColl's farm, even the chickens. Toby also has his own carriage, Henrietta. Together they take children to and from the seaside. Toby has his own shed at Allsdale End. He's very happy there. One morning, Toby puffed out of his shed. The birds twittered good morning to him. That made Toby very happy. Thomas puffed by. Toby liked saying hello to Thomas. Then he chuffed off to work. Thomas spotted that Toby was wet. Then he saw that there were a lot of holes in the roof of Toby's shed. Thomas decided to ask Sir Topham Hatt to build Toby a new roof. Thomas was sure that that would make Toby very happy, but it didn't. Toby looked sadder and sadder. Soon the new roof was finished. Thomas was very pleased, but Toby looked sadder than ever. Thomas asked Toby what was wrong. Toby told Thomas he liked his old roof with holes. The birds flew in through the holes to make their nests. So Toby's shed was their home too. Later, Thomas had an idea. He asked the workmen to build a new home for the birds. Toby's birds came back, and that made Toby very happy. One day, James told Toby that the new Sodor Museum was opening. All the engines were having a repaint for the celebration. But Toby wasn't having a repaint. Toby was worried. He knew that museums were places where they sent old things that weren't useful anymore. Toby thought Sir Topham Hatt wanted Toby to be in the museum. Toby decided to show Sir Topham Hatt that he was too useful to be put in the museum. Then he saw Sir Topham Hatt. He didn't want Sir Topham Hatt to talk to him. Then there was trouble. Sir Topham Hatt would put him in the museum now, but Toby was wrong. Sir Topham Hatt told him that he was far too useful, and because he was Sodor's only steam tram, he had a special job for Toby. Toby was to take all the visitors to the museum for the grand opening. Toby the steam tram is very special. Everyone on Sodor knows that. And they are all very proud of Toby. The island of Sodor is a wonderful place. There are lots and lots of engines. Who's that puffing along the track? It's Gordon. Gordon is a great grand engine. He is blue with red stripes and has the number 4 painted on his tender. Gordon is one of the strongest engines on Sir Topham Hatt's railway. His special job is pulling the express. Strongest and best, strongest and best. Cleanest and fastest and pulls the express. Gordon wants all the other engines to hear. But one day, Gordon heard something that he hoped none of the other engines could hear. His engine was squeaking. Gordon didn't feel like the most important engine on Sodor anymore. Diesel teased him at the docks. He said Gordon would be sent to the scrapyard. Gordon believed him. Gordon had a special. He had to take children to the docks to catch their boat. Gordon found out that the slower he went, the less he squeaked. So Gordon went slower and slower. Sir Topham Hatt was on board. He wanted to know why the fastest engine on the railway was going so slowly. This made Gordon very unhappy. So Gordon decided it didn't matter if he was going to be scrapped. He would make his last journey the fastest he had ever puffed. Gordon's pistons pumped and his boiler bubbled. He squeaked, rattled, and rolled into the docks. But Gordon didn't mind. The children were on time for their boat. And Sir Topham Hatt didn't scrap Gordon. He sent them to the repair yard. Gordon was very happy. Gordon knew he was an important engine, and Gordon likes to feel important. One day, Sir Topham Hatt told Gordon that if he pulled the express across the island and back again, on time, he would set a new record. Gordon was excited. At the coal depot, his tender was loaded with coal. Gordon was ready to wheesh away. Then the yard manager gasped. Gordon had been given Henry's coal by mistake. Gordon knew Henry needed special coal, but he thought it would make him go faster, so Gordon pretended not to hear. He raced away. But Henry wasn't happy at all. There was no more special coal at the depot. Gordon saw how sick Henry was. Gordon didn't feel important anymore. And he didn't feel happy. He felt bad. He cared about helping his friend. And if an engine is in trouble, Gordon will be there to help. That's why it feels good to be Gordon. The island of Sodor is a wonderful place. It's home to lots and lots of engines. But where is Thomas puffing today? That's right, the narrow gauge railway. The narrow gauge engines live and work in the hills of Sodor. They are small engines. The narrow gauge engines work for Mr. Percival, the narrow gauge controller. He tells them if they are to shunt slate, or pull coal wagons, or deliver supplies. They look after each other, especially if one of them is in trouble. And one day, Sir Handel was in trouble. Sir Handel is one of the oldest narrow gauge engines. Sir Handel had a special. He was to pull wagons of apples very carefully. But Sir Handel couldn't puff up the hill. His pistons popped. His traction rods rattled, and his boiler bubbled and bounced. Peter Sam came to Sir Handel's rescue. He pushed, and he puffed Sir Handel up the hill. Then Sir Handel had another special. This time it was wagons of sheep. Again, Sir Handel couldn't get up the hill. This time, Duncan chuffed to his rescue. But there was no one to help the time Mr. and Mrs. Percival were on board. The hill was steep. Sir Handel shuddered and juddered and stopped. The picnic hamper burst open. Sir Handel felt terrible. Now he was sure he would be sent to the scrap yards. But Sir Handel was wrong. Thomas brought a special engineer. Sir Handel was fixed in no time. All the engines liked to help each other. One day, Mr. Percival had an important job for Duncan and Rusty. But Duncan found a hidden track. He was supposed to be pulling coal trucks with Rusty. But he wanted to see where the track went. Rusty was cross. He told Duncan they had to work. But Duncan is a narrow-gauge engine who likes adventures. Rusty chugged off. And Duncan chuffed off to have an adventure. He followed the old track into the side of a mountain. Duncan was excited. Then there was trouble. Duncan had biffed into a wooden beam. The roof fell in, and Duncan was trapped in the mine. But Duncan is also a smart engine. Slowly and carefully, he pushed behind some heavy wagons until, at last, he pushed the wagons out into the open air. And there was Rusty. Rusty had been worried about Duncan. And Duncan was very happy to see Rusty. Duncan still likes adventures, but he likes his narrow-gauge friends most of all. The engines of the narrow-gauge railway are very special. Thomas always enjoys his visits to see them. They may be smaller than he is, but they are just as useful.